Hello and welcome to my session for Azure Spring Clean 2024. The topic will be today Azure Advisor and the well-architected framework. But first things first, some points to my person. My name is Thomas Brindle. I'm working for a leading cloud provider in Austria as an expert hybrid cloud and data center. My role is in the hybrid cloud field, and I have several certifications for Azure and some also for AWS. But my focus is clearly on the Microsoft portfolio, and so it makes sense that I will cover an Azure topic today. Um, what are we going to cover? First of all, I will give you some introduction about the Azure Advisor and the well-architected framework and why you should know about it. Then I will give you some general information about the functionality of the advisor, how the advisor can help you, which recommendations are available, and how you can solve or apply problems or recommendation that the advisor will hand over to you. Then you will have to look for your health status, your optimization status, and that's also an option that the advisor gives to you. And some recommendations or fixes for problems. You don't have to do it manually. There isn't an option how to remediate these problems and recommendations at scale. I will give you some guidelines how to do this. Then it's nice to know about the new recommendations. So there's an option to get an reporting and alerting as well. This will also be a part of the presentation. And last but not least, there is also some configuration possibilities in the advisor, and this will be the last step of the presentation. Let's start and jump into the topic. First, when it comes to operating a cloud environment, there are always the same questions that comes up. Where is my cloud environment inefficient or uneconomical? Is my cloud deployment correct and in line with the latest best practices? And how to answer these questions. That means that you are constantly confronted with topics such as security, costs, efficiency, and best practices. And it will be really hard to have all the possibilities and new developments are always in mind and on the radar. And there was a product introduced that helps you with that, uh, namely the Azure Advisor. So what is the advisor? And there is an official definition by Microsoft. Take this definition from the Microsoft Learn page. Azure Advisor is a free service integrated into Azure that provides best practices, recommendations, And these recommendations are personalized and actionable. The recommendation can be used to assess Azure workloads against the 5 pillars of the Microsoft Azure Well-Architected Framework. So um, from this, I created a simplified definition. So the Azure Advisor is something like a personalized cloud consultant. It provides recommendations and best practices tailored to the provisioned Azure resources, services in your subscription, and it's based on the Azure Well-Architected Framework. So the question comes up what the Azure Well-Architected Framework is. It is a guideline that is splitted into 5 pillars. One pillar is cost optimization. That means um, in the cloud, the way how you operate your resources is different than on premise. So you should always have in mind running a virtual machine also costs. This is a pay as you go model, and that's completely different than to what is traditionally on premise. Then the next pillar is security. So there are also a big set on recommendations and guidelines how to operate workloads in the cloud. Um, that doesn't mean that running workloads in the cloud is unsafe, but you have to have these guidelines in mind. Then the next pillar is reliability. Um, as always, you want to have your workload stable, and it should be able to survive um, uh, problems like an power outage and other things like that. So you have to design it that it survives such happenings. Then the next pillar is operational excellence. So means you should also know how your solution um, can be managed, um, uh, how much manual intervention is needed to operate it. So it's recommended to have a lot of automation in place, and that's something that can be reached in easy way in the cloud. And the last pillar is performance efficiency. So you always should have scale in mind in the cloud, um, not only in the point of view of costs, as well as in the point of view of how um, convenient your application is to use for your end customers. Because if they have to wait for a long time to load something, um, that's not a nice customer experience. So you should develop solutions in the cloud that scale and have always the needed resources in place. So how does the advisor works? The advisor uh, looks on your workloads, analyzes the resource configurations and usage telemetries, and then on this basis it makes recommendations on the basis of the well-architected framework. And the advisor works on the subscription and resource level, and aggregate these informations individually. And you should have in mind that only owner and contributor or reader of a subscription or resource has access to the respective advisor recommendations. So, how could such advisor recommendations look like? Um, I I gathered for each pillar one example here. If we look for costs, for example, recommendation could be resize or shut down underutilized virtual machine instances. Means as it is, shut it down if you don't use it, or resize it because it's not used at the whole level it is deployed. Then we have reliability. For example, the recommendation here is enable backup to protect your virtual machine data from accidental deletion. I think that's no question. You have to if you have a productive workload, you should always have a backup in place. So that's a valid recommendation, I would say. Um, then in regards of operational excellence, a recommendation could be create Azure Service Health alerts to notify you when Azure problems affect you. Means there is a public portal from Azure where you can find the health states for several Azure services, and if something's changed there, you can create alerts that notify you that for example, in your region and your in the data center you are operating some workloads, there are some problems with the service you need. Um, in regards of the performance, or a recommendation could be use managed disks to prevent IO throttling. So maybe you are using standard SSDs or HDDs. Um, it could be a problem because you have some performance issues. So to solve this problem, you could upgrade to um, premium SSDs or to ultra disks. That could be a recommendation. And in case of security, a recommendation could be virtual machine management ports should be protected with just-in-time network access control. That means that if somebody needs access to your virtual machine, um, he can make uh, um, the person who wants to have access can uh, ask for access in the portal, and he will get some time window to access there. And this time window is also related to the so-called network security groups. So the ports will be opened in this network security groups, and so the person is able to connect in the time window from the IP address from his workstation. On the right side, you see how the advisor overview will look like. You can see the 5 pillars from the well architected framework. And on each pillar, you see the current assessment results. That means the number of advisor recommendations, the number of the resources that are affected. Um, if there is some recommendation, there is always a relation to the deployed resources. And last but not least, you have the impact level um, categorized in low, medium, or high, and they are also differentiated by the color. So blue means it's a low level, low impact level. Orange is a medium impact level, or high is red, and high is a high impact level. If you drill down in some of these categories, you receive informations like the description of the recommendation, the impact level of the recommendation, how a potential improvement looks like, and the number of the resources affected. You can see this as well in the little screenshot on the right side. And if you select a special recommendation, you get the opportunity to do several things. The first and the most taken is to carry out a recommended action. Um, if you don't have the resource and time to do this action, you can also defer the recommendation for a period of time. And if you have a solution that is not a solution that can be carried out with cloud tools, you can also reject the recommendation and it will not be displayed anymore. Yes, you can see as well here a screenshot how a recommendation and its details will look like. And let's go on. Um, so how could you get overall status of your cloud environment, how safe it is, where do you have scaling potential, and is it deployed in a reliable way? There is a so-called optimization status or advisor score available to answer these questions. And so the questions are: which recommendations should you prioritize? Which recommendations are the most effective? And how to answer this? So let's go on. First, we should have an understanding of the advisor score itself. There's a definition um, like before with the Azure Advisor. The Advisor score is a rating of all Azure subscriptions on a scale from 0 to 100%. This makes it easy to understand how well the resources are optimized according to the documented best practices. And the score is divided into 5 individual ratings, each for the 5 pillars of the Azure Well Architected Framework. Um, I created again a simplified definition here. Um, the Azure Advisor score provides information on the extent to which you are complying with the well architected framework. It shows you how which optimizations you need to carry out to generate the maximum benefit, and it will also help you to determine how far you are in your cloud journey. So on the right side, you see the Azure Advisor dashboard. Um, at the moment, we have 84% here, and I created some calculations that you know how this is created, this score. So, for example, you have the 5 pillars of the well-architected framework. Your resources have all the cost optimization recommendations in place, so we have 100% in this category. Then we have security. We are at the moment we are by 47%. In regards of reliability, we have 73%, and operational excellence and performance are on 100%. So you now have okay. There's some sorry for that. There's some problem with the calculation. I expected that there is um, the algorithm, the formula displayed as well. I will look for this. Give me one moment for that, please. Every time there is something I didn't expect doing such workshops. So the calculation is done by adding all the different categories to a sum, and then you have to divide them um, f- f- by 500, and after all you will get this result. What you should have in mind by this calculation is that long-term recommendations are weighted more heavily here. There are also recommendations with greater impact, and so they are weighted higher than recommendations with less impact. And deferred or rejected recommendations are not taken into account in the overall advisor score. So to have a sense of how your advisor score progress over time, there is a so-called advisor workflow. So that's nothing that happens only one time. Your environment is assessed in, on a repeated on a many times, and that's nothing that happens only one time. So the workflow here is your your environment is assessed. You are going to check the advisor's score dashboard. Um, you analyze the categories and the scores to know where improvements need to be done. Um, then you evaluate the category score and the impact of each recommendation to determine which recommendation has the most positive impact. And after that, you apply this recommendation. So that's nothing that is done automatically. That's something you should have planned and you should do on a regular basis. The assessment itself is policy based and runs on a daily basis. So um, you should have always a good sense of the health and the status of your Azure environment. And sometimes there are a lot of recommendations. It's boring to do this for each resource and service manually. So there is an option to apply fixes at mass, at scale. Means, for example, if you have underutilized virtual machines, you can select all the machines that you want to, for example, shut down, or you want to resize. And after you selected all the resources, you can apply the fix. Sometimes there's also a quick fix option, so you don't have to do this fix by yourself, and you don't have to um, make some manual steps. There is an automatic way to solve it, and this is provided by Microsoft itself. Um, if you want to have a reporting and alerting of your advisor score and all the recommendations, um, you can configure it in the advisor portal. There is a reporting alerting option, and one way is to create an alert. Means that if there is a new recommendation for a specific topic, means, for example, a cost optimization topic, you will get an alert message. This will operate on the same technique like you're creating alerts in Azure Monitor. On the other side, you can also have recommendation digest, means you create a report that will be sent out to specified auditorium on a regular basis. And last but not least, you have also the possibility to create a manual export, and you can download it in an CSV file or in a PDF format. And the last thing I want to cover here is the configuration options you have. Um, First, you can set up the scope Azure Advisor should work on. Means if you don't want to have optimization or recommendations, for example, like a dev environment, you can include this subscription or resource group where this dev resources are deployed. And maybe you can reduce the noise um, the advisor will generate if it will be activated on this scope. And one of the most recommendations you will get is the right sizing recommendation. And if you want to have a specific threshold that should be in place here regarding, for example, the CPU utilization, you can have also this set up here. In the screen, you will see that I created a setup that if the CPU utilization is under 100%, you will not gain any recommendations. You can choose here everything you want, and there's also an option to create and to set up the advisor look back up period, so only the this the the time range you're defined here will be used for this assessment. So, what did we cover in this session? I give you an introduction about the well-architected framework and the advisor. You get an overview of the advisor functionality. I give you some examples of recommendations, how to apply and fix these recommendations, how you can set up an alerting and reporting for Azure Advisor, and also the possibility to configure the advisor was provided. And that's it. We are on the end of this session. Thank you for your interest and that you was part of this session. There you will find my contact informations. I have also a blog where I report on the topics that I'm currently um, work on. And you will also find my LinkedIn and Twitter account if you want to get in contact with me or you want to connect. And that's it. Thank you for your attention. Have a nice uh, rest week. Bye.